up, roll up, roll up. I have a fantabulous offer for you. So I have just finished, 10 minutes ago, running the one-day online Fearless Public Speaking video webinar workshop. So ran it live. For those of you who missed it, could not attend live, once the replay recording has rendered, so it's rendering right now. Now, it was an epic 9 hours. Of course, we did have some breaks, so about 8 hours of content in total, once you minus the breaks. It's going to take a while to render. So that's going to be rendering for the next couple of hours, maybe into the early hours of this morning. So what I'll probably do, if I don't fancy being back at my desk tomorrow, this will launch on Monday. But if I'm feeling keen, it will launch as soon as the video is finished rendering. But what I'm doing at the moment, special pre-launch just for the next 48 hours. So it'll be 48 hours from the time that I get it launched. So it's either 48 hours from tomorrow, 48 hours from Monday. So by Tuesday, Wednesday, the coming week, it will be gone in terms of this offer. But what I'm going to do, you can purchase the full one-day video webinar workshop replay. The reason I can do that is I don't have to be there live. Now, you missed out on the benefit of asking individual questions, putting what you want into the mix for the HUNA and the access consciousness. However, as we know, and I discussed it in the webinar, all of the processes still work, even if you're doing it as a replay recording. So you get the full workshop. It will be $97. The prices are going along the bottom. That's about 67, 68 pounds, depending on the exchange rate. That will be for the 48 hours. Also, if you're on my e-newsletter list, when I've got it set up, I'll send you a code where you get 10% off that price. And if you're in my membership group, you're one of my lifetime members, you'll save 25% off of the $97 stroke 67 pounds. So it's kind of a no-brainer, really. So if you would like that, that's going to be for the next 48 hours, and then we start with, and I'll do, I'll maybe do a little mini launch price. It's going to be nothing like it is now, just to put that into context. To attend live, $560 something. So great price, fantastic workshop. I'm sure if you have searched online for public speaking training, and I'm in a full-on workshop, you're not really going to find anything like this. Trust me, I've checked, for a mere £67 or $97. So my suggestion is take the opportunity to grab this while you can. It will not last. It will expire. What I may even do is I put it on my Thrivecart page. I will set the timer, then I don't need to, because oftentimes I don't know, well, I do know why, because I often expire things at midnight, let's say, like it's going to end on Tuesday night or Monday night, for example. But then the downside is if I put it on a page that doesn't expire itself, I've then got to get out of bed and do it manually. So what I'll probably do is I'm going to set this one up on Thrivecart. Oh, actually, that takes a lot more work. But I'll set it up so it will expire itself. And then what happens is if you've missed it, it will refresh, but at the full price. But if you want to get an absolute bargain in terms of what we covered, oh my goodness, we did a ton of stuff. So actually, I don't think I've got the roadmap here. Actually, it's going to be easier. Let me, if I can find it quickly, I will add it. Now, did I call it roadmap? Oh, yes, I did. Hooray. I do love it sometimes when I'm logical. Ooh, I've got green, I've got plain. Let's go for version 2. Oh, actually, no, let's go for that one. I called on, I'm like, what's the green one? I don't even know what the green one was now. I was probably maybe playing with color schemes. So, followed a roadmap. However, oh, I see. Oh, I don't like that. Sorry, I've seen the plain one. I'm like, ew, don't like it. I'm going to see if I get the colored one. I think sorry about the clacking. Ooh, let's see. I don't know I know what I was doing. I was playing with all sorts of different background colors before the one I settled on, which is in the actual workshop. So I'm like, what on earth was I thinking? So I was playing with different, anyway, what I'm going to do, it doesn't look like this. So if you were on the worksheet, like, it looks slightly different, but this is the draft version of what became the final roadmap. But let me just, so you can see that a bit more clearly. So we had 7 stages in total. Number 1 was deciding. So we take you through a process to get you clarity and what is you actually want to get from the workshop. What's your purpose? What's your objective? What's your outcome? How you know you've achieved it? So you drill that down, because what that does, it starts training the brain to get you what you want. We then had the whole thing about looking at mindset and beliefs, because one of the big things that will sabotage you, your mindset, your beliefs, your thoughts, the fear, the anxiety, the worry, the nervousness, and also the limiting beliefs, not good enough, not capable enough, not worthy enough, etc. We then go into, right, we know what we're dealing with now, let's do the transformation work. So we did a couple of processes, 2 of my favorites. We did access consciousness clearing, where I'm taking all of those most common statements, we put them into the blender for the access consciousness, clear the old judgments, beliefs, and limitations. Then we did the HUNA energy clearing to cut all of those old links and ties and connections. So people were like, whoa, that was deep. And that was trancy. So that's all included. The reason this is a draft one, I changed the colors because, man, this is hard to read. Then we looked at the planning and the structure. So I took everyone through the 5-minute presentation mapping process. So how do you go from a blank sheet of paper to having your presentation mapped out? Everyone started with a blank sheet of paper. I set my timer, my stopwatch. Actually, it's probably still going. I might need to stop it. So it is still going. So I set my stopwatch. I said, your time starts now. I explained how to do it, what to put in each of these segments, press go, and then we do a debrief around that. Everyone was able to do that. Then what we do, once we've done that, it's okay, you got your presentation, getting your mindset in order. However, how do you remember and recall your presentation? So we did a whole section on memory, and we did a whole section on strategies for you to be able to remember and recall your presentation more easily, and how do you cement it and get it into the neurology. And then we did the audience engagement piece. Well, how do you now connect with and engage with your audience, and how do you actually know what your audience are wanting? So we went through some processes for the demographics, key questions to ask, did all of that. And then we did the implementation piece, which is putting this all into practice and actually giving you the opportunity to practice your presentation, setting some exercises. Of course, as you're not there live, and people have the opportunity to either use the online space where you can upload a recording, you can record live video straight into the platform, not the webinar platform, it's private. You can upload an audio, or you can do an audio of your presentation, which means you could read the map that you had done. They also had the opportunity to go into the theatre room, or they had the opportunity to do it in the mirror. And the 4th option, which several people did take, was to actually present live to camera as part of the webinar. So you'll get to hear some of those presentations as well. So that was the main thing that we were doing today. There's a lot more detail in there. Besides, we covered a lot of ground, and as I said at the opening, it was fast, it was furious, we covered a lot. I also talked about the whole thing in terms of what happens if you find yourself in a position where you think you're doing one thing and then you end up doing another. So I shared what happened. There was an online version. This is the TCCHE, fantastic event. So the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution. I'm the host and I'm the MC for that event. I've been doing that now for, gosh, a good 5 or so years. And it was when we were in lockdown. So there was I think it was 10 or 12, I think it was a 12-day event, sometimes 12 to 15 hours a day, because we're covering a range of time zones and many of the speakers are in the United States. So I was with Nassim. What I was going to be doing is interviewing him, doing the intro, taking people through his bio, handing over. Nassim Haramein was going to do the presentation, and then I would come back in the end and wrap up and field a few questions from the audience. There was then a change of plan, and Nassim said, actually, I would prefer to just, let's have a chat. Let's have let's have Marilyn interview me. And this was like 30 minutes before the session was to go live. Nassim Haramein has a brain the size of a planet. He's a physicist, quantum physicist, everything you can think of. He's done stuff with CERN, etc. He's got the brain the size of a planet. I'm not specialist in his subject at all. So my challenge is, whoa, how do I, because I'm going to have 12 minutes in the end because it was lunchtime. So I had to stay, we do a debrief, we do the sound check, make sure it's all set for the next speaker. And then I've got to be back on, I've got to eat and be back on camera, well, behind the scenes 5 or so minutes before we go live, just to make sure everything's set. So I had about 12 minutes to prepare. So I shared with the group the strategy that I used to get myself ready for that. And I noticed as I'm presenting, comments were coming in because I could see the comments. And people like, whoa, you're really holding your own. Oh my God, great questions. My God, fantastic conversation. Wow, this is brilliant. This is amazing. And I'm like, phew. But I've taught the group through the process that I used in order to be able to formulate those questions at a level that would keep Nassim Haramein and those who are like him engaged and not just be going, so tell me about the cosmos then. So that was a really interesting experience. And I was talking about what can you do when you have those sorts of curveballs. So we covered, actually I think this is the one. So this was me. So this was Nassim. This was the TCCHE event. So that's me. You'll recognize the background, and that's me and Nassim in conversation. But it was a really interesting experience, but absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It was great and just such a fantastic conversation. But there are things that you can do where you can handle that in short notice. Now, for those of you, let me see, actually, is this the one I'm looking for? No, that's not the one, but it's got a similar cover. One of the things that, if you're part of the main Fearless Public Speaking program itself, this was a one-day standalone workshop, so open to everyone, but it will go into the learning management system for the Fearless Public Speaking program. But what I've done is I created a few programs and guides for this as well. So those are already in the portal. I've put one together about what can you do if you have to speak at short notice. So that's definitely in there. Oh, actually, this was the event. This was the whole TCCHE event. So these are a collection of the people. So Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, I know many of you know him. Zulma Rhea was one of them. Dr. Jude Caravan was another. Curtis Childs, seriously, it was a massive live. JJ and Desiree Hurtak, so they're all in there. And it was just the most fantastic event ever. But you've got to be on your toes when you're speaking to people who are when you talk about people being experts in their fields, this is a class act room of people. So it was really interesting to be part of that and have that experience. So just seeing, I don't think I've got a copy of it here, and I'm not going to go and look for it, but yeah, all of the guides are in there. If there's a subject and you think, oh, I want a little bit more on this, let me know, because I'm going to create some one-page fact sheets and quick reference guides as well for the program. So yeah, I shall leave it there. Keep a lookout. For those of you on my e-newsletter list, what I'm saying this now, if you don't read the e-newsletter and see after the fact that you would have saved yourself 10%, or if you're in my membership group and you see you would have saved yourself 20%, I can't be responsible for that. I'm not going to get into the whole thing about doing retrospective refunds. It's just too much darn work, and it also damages your kind of rating with them, if you like, if you keep having to do refunds. So I say to people, I'm not doing retrospective refunds. So if you're on the e-newsletter list, use the code that will be in the e-newsletter. If you're in my membership group, use the code that I will put into the Facebook membership group. If you want to purchase the one-day Fearless Public Speaking workshop, running time, as I said, just 9 hours, 15 minutes, but there are some breaks built into that as well. So I'd say in terms of actual content, it's probably around the 8-hour mark. If you happen to be watching this video after the fact and you're like, I just went to the page and it wasn't $97 or £67, that's because this is just a very limited time offer. It's going to be about 48 or so hours. So I really apologize. You've missed it. It's still massive value, regardless of what the price tag is on it. And I had a really interesting conversation with someone on the program, and they were talking about relative value. And if something is really important to you, it's not necessarily what the pound sign, the dollar sign is. It's like, what value will it deliver to you? And we talked about aspects there, because it's not always just about being on stage or being on camera. I shared the perspective about interviews, and someone who was on the program said, oh my gosh, I hadn't thought about it like that. Seriously, An interview is a presentation on forensics. Because when you deliver a presentation, as much as you might think everybody's watching you and all eyes are on you, realistically, people are there for the information. When you're in an interview, they are watching you like a hawk, and ideally, the way they should be, listening to every single word, watching your movements, what you think, of trying to get into your head. What are you thinking? How do you react to things? So all of this information is hugely valuable if you're going to be interviewed. It may be that you're not doing any of the above, but you have to present at meetings. You may not even be running the meetings, but you've got to contribute to the meetings. And I've known many people who hold themselves back. They don't speak up. They do not contribute. So you can get stuck in a rut for several years. You can also get passed over for promotion. Because when people are saying, who? Oh, yeah, I don't really hear much from them. You're actually getting in your own way. So there are aspects of that. For some, they're not running workshops per se. You're not standing up in front of massive audiences, but you're the face of your brand or your product. So it may be that you are required to speak to the media, for example. And with regards to speaking to the media, TV, radio. So we talked a little bit about that today in terms of the kind of, because I do live TV, I do live radio, I do all sorts of wonderful things. So I just talked about some of the media that I'm kind of speaking on. And also, we didn't kind of get into it today, so it's a different kind of conversation, but there are we talked about one of the biggest fears, which is 70% of the global population surveyed. Fear of public speaking is right up there in the top 3. So interestingly, well, that's me. What was that? Well, I'm talking about working from home on that one. So I often do live television. And one of the other biggest fears is the fear of spiders. That's me with Nancy the tarantula. So in terms of two of the biggest global fears, I have worked with and overcome both of those, and then worked with other people to do the same. Because as a hypnotherapist, when I started, did my fair share of spider phobias when that was front and center on my website. People are like, oh my God, I'm scared of spiders as well. So in terms of two of the biggest fears in the world, we've got you covered here. But yeah, and also I've had people sign up for this workshop who are already expert speakers in their own right. So they're already out there in the world, they're speaking, they're presenting. I actually did work with them many years ago. A couple of them did a breakthrough session, others of them did some coaching, and they came back to this workshop and the program because they want to next level their skills. They want those nuances. And also sometimes it's a reminder. So whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned speaker and presenter, there is something in there for you. I also had someone who's an author, so has written a book, been out there putting it out into the world. So he's come to this workshop because he now wants to start creating programs around it and using the information in a different way. I've suggested him, hey, maybe do some, book groups and all that sort of stuff. So he's come so that he gets another layer of skill to be able to go out and do that. So it's suitable for all levels and it's structured in that way. And there will be times, the beauty of this is, of course, with the replay recording, I might be talking about something it's interesting, but not that relevant to you now. And then something comes up and you go, oh, there was a section on that. You can go back and you can revisit it. So I highly recommend it. Had some really fantastic feedback. Let me see if I can quickly find just a little bit of it, because as I said, we were running live. So I've only just finished, but let's see. Some of you know the wonderful Sita Jones. So just reading her comment there from Facebook. There you go. So she says, Marilyn Devonish, one-day program, absolutely jam-packed. I am loving it. Never been so vocal with confidence too. Yay. That's amazing. So yeah, seriously, it has been fabulous. I've loved it. More importantly, the attendees loved it. And yeah, come and join us. Now, let me just see while I'm here, if I can show you, because it's all very well me saying it. Oh yeah, the 5-minute process. For the last couple of years, I've been running a coaching program for University of Oxford. Last year, they invited me down to do a presentation skills masterclass, and I did the 5-minute exercise with the Oxford Fellows, as in everyone's handed a piece of paper. I said, because they said, what do you need? I said, a flip chart. Well, that's me. That's a little green dot there in the front is me. So I said, if you've got a flip chart, that would be useful. Can you make sure we have plain paper? Can you make sure we have pens? Because nowadays, many people are walking around with a tablet, not necessarily pen and paper. Everyone was handed a piece of paper. Everyone was handed a good old Bic pen out of the box. I set my timer. I explained the exercise, of course, how to do it, set the timer. End of 5 minutes, I said, stop. Who's coming up first on stage? And people coming up, so they were coming up on stage. I was sitting down in the audience. Bang, 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 bang. They all had a presentation to deliver after 5 minutes. So I will share that process with you all. I'm just having a look to see if I put any of the feedback. Oh, actually, let me just, rather than faffing about, see if I can find it that way. Just so you get a sense of, I'm going to give that one there. And I just saw another one that will be a nice one to add as well. And then we'll bring it back, just so you can hear from other people who have taken this path before you, because that's what I think always important, a bit of social proof. Ooh. And I'm going to do that one as well. All right, so in closing, let me introduce you. So this was Rachel CK, who there's another iteration of the Fearless Public Speaking workshop I ran many years ago. So this is the updated version. In the wider version, for example, we did a section on AI and ethical use of AI, for example. So it's been updated in many ways. Deeper dive into audience connection, ways to connect with your audience, all those sort of things. So it's an upgraded version. This is the version. So the previous version, Rachel took it, and I was on a holiday. It was January 2020, just before the world went into lockdown. So I'm in Gran Canaria. I'm by the pool. I'm reading an ebook, and a message popped up from Messenger from Rachel saying, "Hi, Marilyn, I've just spent the day with you." So I look around the pool thinking, oh my gosh, has Rachel and her family arrived at the same resort? What are the chances of that? And then the rest of the message came up. She said, I've just taken your Fearless Public Speaking program. So I'm around the swimming pool. Rachel is here in the UK in the snow and the wind and the rain, similar. Well, there's no snow today, but there's certainly been wind and rain, taking the workshop. This is what she said. So this was something I saw on her Facebook page. I said, oh, can I share that? She said, yes, of course, or else I wouldn't be putting it up here. So she said, for those of you who are asking me about my big talk in January and shared my joy that I was so happy with how it had gone, ... Marilyn Devonish is the awesome lady that enabled me to breathe, think, and talk all at the same time. And now you can do it too, ! Whether you get nervous in social settings, on social media, speaking in one-to-one settings, small groups or big stages, these techniques work. I'm tapping into what I learned almost every day now. What's holding you back from sharing your passions or knowledge? And that's Rachel CK, educator, natural life coach, awesome mama, and oil lover, because she does the doTERRA aromatherapy oils. So really lovely. And not long after that, Rachel was also offered her own radio show, and I was one of the first guests on the radio show. That's one of those full circle moments. So that was absolutely amazing. I'm also going, and this one, you know, if you say a picture speaks 1,000 words. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, that's not the one. Is that the one? Oh, I wanted the bigger one. But it's the tiny version, but you can see Erica there holding her award. Let me see if there's a bigger version, actually, because I'd like you to get the full effect of this. It's such an awesome picture. Ooh, Erica Brodnock winning People's Choice Award. Let me see if that's the one, because I would like you to see this one. So Erica says, let me read the quote anyway, and I'll see if that's the right picture in a minute. So Erica says, she was petrified. She'd been invited, didn't even have to apply, was invited to do a TED talk. She said she was petrified. So she said, I remember attending the photo reading course with Marilyn Devonish, being worried about a pending TED talk I was scheduled to deliver in just over a month's time. I was petrified. I didn't see myself as a speaker. And while I knew I had a powerful story to share, I wasn't sure how to deliver it and had racked up a few negative experiences around public speaking in the past, exclamation mark. When I heard about the Magic and Gratitude program, I jumped at the chance to participate. I knew it was what I needed for a little extra magic in my life. There's a 5-day free version if you want to try that out. Hit me up, I'll send you the link. If only to make it through the TED Talk. I worked through my speaking angst with a combination of breakthrough coaching sessions with Marilyn and Matrix Reimprinting, and went on, and Matrix Reimprinting, she's a Matrix Reimprinting specialist. And I went on to deliver a talk that has now been watched and shared by, and this was just after the talk, so over 1,000 people. I'm sure that number is exponentially different now, and because this was written a few years ago. That, however, was just the beginning. Since then, I've been asked to speak at several events, from meetups to the BBC, and each and every time I have delivered beyond my wildest expectations and to high acclaim, ... Simply magic. So that, seriously, if you've ever seen Erica speak, she is always the best speaker in the room. And that is not me just saying that. I remember I was at an event not long after we'd worked together. Erica had her own business. She's just been awarded, I think it's an MBE or an OBE, whichever one it is. Apologies, I got those mixed up. But let's just say MBE for now. In the latest honours list, Erica was honoured for the work that she's been doing, part of which is having that visibility, being out in the world. One of the things, so this is Erica winning one of many speaking competitions. I remember I was one day watching Sky News. I'm like, hold up a minute, because they had an expert on. I'm like, that's Erica. So seriously, and now you see Erica speak. So I'm at an event. We just not long finished the coaching around the pitching, presenting, the speaking, etc. So I'm at the event. Erica invited me along to see her pitch, to see her present. Nobody knew who I was. I'm just another face in the crowd at the break time, because Erica had spoken before the break, saying to me, oh, you know, how are you finding it? Have you enjoyed the evening? Every single person I spoke to, this is the absolute God's honest, hand on heart truth. Every single person said, oh yeah, it's been good. On that last speaker, what's her name again? You mean Erica? Yes. Oh, amazing. Oh, mind-blowing. Oh, impactful. Oh, fantastic. And I'm just smiling to myself and like, cool. And so after, when Erica came out, I said, Erica, I've just spoken to 6+ people. I haven't said who I am. I haven't even said I know you. Every single person, mind blown. She's an incredible speaker. You know, when you see people and they win those big checks, I've got pictures of Erica with the checks as well. That is how amazing she is. So to go from being petrified of doing a TED Talk to the woman you see glowing before you today, and this was taken a few years ago, so she's gone leaps and bounds since then. So if, and as I said to everyone on the training today, you may not want to be on stages. You may not be delivering webinars, teleseminars, doing podcast interviews, doing live radio, doing TV. I happen to just really enjoy those things. It may simply just be social settings, speaking at meetings, making your voice heard, networking events, life in general, improving your communication skills and your ability to connect to another human being. It does not have to be that you're on stages speaking online in this particular way. So whatever it is for you, I encourage you to grab this offer once it's ready, because the recording is still rendering, but it will be open for about approximately 48 hours, give or take, because one of them I'm going to have to come and shut down manually. But yeah, my suggestion, grab it while you can, because this type of training is life-changing. Life-changing. And as I was saying to everyone on the training, if you've heard me speak before, you will know when I tell you I was terrified of public speaking right up until the age of 32. It is now one of my most favorite things to do. And not only one of my favorite things to do, it's something that I've been teaching other people. Just seeing if one of my favorite image, actually the favorite image is on my, okay, Okay, so when I say live TV and live radio, I really mean live TV and live radio. So this was me getting ready to go live on TV. Sometimes I'm in the studio, at other times you'll recognize the background. I'm here, but that's one with me going kind of just getting ready to go live on TV. And that's the one. This is one of my favorite pictures ever. It's an aerial shot of me speaking at Kensington Olympia. So that's me, the little pink dot. I was speaking on behalf of Psychologies magazine on that particular day. And the event I'm talking about, I was talking about with the TCCHE, where I showed you all the online pictures. This was the event from last year. We were at a new venue because when I say we, Richard organizes the whole thing. I turn up and do my bit as the host and the MC. They outgrew the last venue, which could only hold 550 to 600 people. And I walked in and we're in a massive venue. And I just like, the sea of chairs was like, wow. So a pity I couldn't get an aerial shot. Actually, I wonder if I could have done that with a selfie stick. But anyway, but you get the gist. You get the gist of the size of the room. My first thought, because those are those little things you can see, that's the chairs going all the way to the back of the room. And this is the TCCHE, the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution. So you got people like, over the years, you've had Greg Braden, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, Lynn McTaggart, JJ and Desiree Hurtak. Oh gosh, it's a roll call. It's a roll call of amazing, incredible speakers from both the world of science and from the world of spirituality. The sea of chairs, my first thought was, whoa, that's amazing. Whereas if you don't like public speaking, and me, before I sorted all this stuff out, I would have run from the room screaming at the thought of that. And I would never even have been in the audience. I wouldn't have said a word. I would just been sitting there quiet as a mouse, hiding away. So, pictures like this now make me smile. I'm like, wow, how far you can come when you have this skill under your belt. So grab the opportunity while it's available. That is an incredible price for something that can absolutely change your life in ways in this moment you could not even expect. So what I will do, because it might be late at night by the time the video is rendered, so when I'm back at my desk, if you go to my main website, www.transformationstm.com, TRANCE, F for Freddie, so FORMATIONS, TM.com, so transformationstm.com, it'll be going across the bottom of the screen on the ticker tape. Click the red What's New button. A panel will slide out, left or right. I'm not sure. I should look and see if this video is reversed, but in my world at the moment, it slides out from the right, but that might be the left if the video image is reversed. And then you'll see a list of the latest things, and I'll put something in there to indicate that this is a special 48-hour offer for the one-day video webinar replay. At the moment, and I was saying to the group, I'm probably going to change this at some point, because I've noticed it's very rare for people to offer lifetime access to anything nowadays. I've even seen people who you will buy the replay and it expires in like 7 or 14 days or 3 to 6 months. So the way I've been doing it since I've been doing online events since 2005 in terms of online coaching, online therapy, online training, is people get lifetime access. I'm looking at that as a strategy, but for now, for those of you who are purchasing even at this low price, you will have lifetime access to the material, so you can watch it at your leisure and revisit it whenever you choose to, whenever you need to. Right, I shall leave it there. Thank you for watching. If you know someone who could benefit from this information, I'd be really grateful if you could share this with them, because for me, it's always been about that magical ripple effect. You can see probably my logo behind me. Came up with this almost 23 years ago to the day almost. It's about being that catalyst and that ripple effect and impacting people days, weeks, months, years later, and having them go out and do the same for other people. So please feel free to share this, share the link. If you know someone who could benefit, that would be amazing, because that's another life changed and transformed. All right, catch you all later. Marilyn Devnish, the Neuro Success Coach from transformationstm.com. Over and out. Thank you to everyone who joined me today, for all of you who are going to be watching the replay recording, and for everyone who's been part of the wider Fearless Public Speaking program. Thank you.